Hi everyone, good having you here today. My name is Sascha and I work at Do It as a machine learning specialist. Um, Starting with this big question mark, what if I told you that AI could be 99% cheaper? Would you believe me? Who would believe? All right, at least some of you. Most people still don't believe me, but if we can take a look at the numbers, they usually don't lie, not implicating I would, but numbers are always true. So back in 2021, I was working with a Middle Eastern bank, cannot mention the name, but it's a Middle Eastern bank. And like many financial institutes, they're processing a lot of documents. Actually, they're processing around 300,000 documents per month using more or less traditional machine learning methods. And at the time, Gen AI as we know it today simply didn't exist, right? Back then, there was no Gen AI as we know it today. And the processing cost for this project alone came with a significant cost of $100,000 a year. That's quite a lot for just document processing. It's also a big bank. They process a lot of documents, but still it's a very big cost factor. And that's approximately $30 per 1,000 pages. So if you know which product they use based on this pricing, let me know, and I owe you a beer later today. But yeah, fast forward to 2024, we actually took a fresh look at the same customer with the same use case, same volume, but this time completely different costs. We went down to $360 a year. Keep in mind, this is for the same amount of documents, $360 a year. That's a cost reduction. That's so sharp, it almost sounds unbelievable. And it also does a better job at a lower complexity, and we literally implemented this in 1.5 days. You can actually do this within 15 minutes if you start writing the code. And that's an optimization on every level, right? But this was one example. I was asking myself, was it just a lucky exception? Or is this something where there is a trend, right? What happens if we actually apply this logic to Google's own AI APIs, like Google's speech-to-text or translation API? How well do they actually compare against Gemini or multimodal model? And we see actually that translations with Gemini are 99% cheaper compared to the Google Translation API. Same for speech-to-text, 98% cheaper. Video intelligence, 98% cheaper again, or 99. So you notice the pattern. No matter the use case, Gemini always cuts the cost. And I had to make this 3D, otherwise you couldn't see the blue dot there. So if you look at those pre-built AI APIs, they have actually two big issues. They're not only expensive, but they are also very rigid and fragmented. What do I mean by that? Let's take the speech-to-text API, for example, made by Google. If you want to use this and you want to have speaker recognition, this feature is only available in English with this API. If you have another language, well, you are out of luck. You need to look outside of Google. If you want to have sentiment analysis for this speech, well, it's another API you need to use. So it's always a separate AI service you need to interact with. And this is the reality of traditional AI and traditional AI services. They try to require to juggle multiple APIs. And you need to learn all those APIs. And they add a lot of unnecessarily complexity to your applications. And this slows the development down in the end. Now, that's where Gemini changes everything again. Not only 1% of the cost, but also X, let's be 10X, 5X, actually the capabilities. So we have one model that can do anything. Images, text, audio, documents, video. We will have more talks today where you can see how you can process videos with it. And let's take the speech-to-text example again. With a simple prompt, we can actually do speaker detection with Gemini in many languages. Hell, we can even identify the speaker names if we want to, if they're mentioned somewhere in the audio because we have full context. Maybe we want to have timestamps. Well, adapt your prompt to your model, right? You're getting timestamps. Maybe you want to extract a topic, adapt your prompt. So I think you get it. So what's really exciting is that I see many companies actually going back to their already existing implementations and asking what can a multimodal model add, or what can Gemini add to already existing things we are doing. Let it be the cost factor or more features actually. I have two demos. We can maybe do this later. But for now, I want to make it a little bit more interactive. So grab your phones. This is where I need your input. And I have one big question for you. Do we already have a multimodal takeover? Yes or no? Why or maybe why not? It will be a word cloud, so you can enter multiple words or single words. And we can, I think, take this as a discussion starter.